All right. Hello, everyone. Once again, it is November the 18th of 2021. Today we are on Psalm 53. This is to the chief musician upon Aleph. Is a Mashil, which is a song of wisdom. It is also a psalm of David. All right. Hopefully my voice is not cutting out. It seems like every day I get different results whenever I do a test. When I do a test video, usually 15-20 seconds, and it seems like every day it sounds different. So hopefully the noise filter won't kill this. We'll see. Psalm 53. Fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. Corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. God looked down from heaven upon the children of men, to see if there were any that did understand, that did seek God. Every one of them is gone back. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Have the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread? They have not called upon God. There were they in great fear, where no fear was. For God hath scattered the bones of him that encampeth against thee. Thou hast put them to shame, because God hath despised them. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. When God bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. And then it expounds on that. Corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. That ties back to the first sentence. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done iniquity. There is none that does any good. God looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand, that did seek God. Every one of them is gone back. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Very similar to the time of Noah, where God looked down and said that there is no good man, for their hearts are evil continually. I think that's where it was. And he actually regretted creating man because man had corrupted itself himself. And that all flesh corrupted. Every one of them is gone back. They are altogether become filthy. Every one of them has gone back. I don't know why that's putting the verse in my head. And take some water there. John, First John. First John? Let me find it. John chapter 6. Uh, get the Jeopardy music on here. I don't know why it came into my head. It's John chapter 6, verse 66. Very interesting. From that day, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. And that was after a long speech from Christ about how there were many of those that were questioning who he was. And when he told them, many of them asked him that it was, or many of them said, "This is a hard saying. Who can hear it? Who can even remotely believe that any of these things are possible?" And then he straight up called him out. He said, "There are many of you that believe not." And then the only time that you can get a chapter 6, verse 66 in the entire Bible, from that time, many of his disciples went back and walked with him no more. Now, of course, they went back to their lives. They went back to their sins and walked with him no more. But as regards to Psalm 53, every one of them is gone back, talking about God looking down heaven upon the children of men, see if there are any that understood. But every one of them is gone back. And like I said, I just sometimes these things just pop into my head, different verses that I know have some tie to each other. Hmm. Next line is interesting too. We could talk about that one. Oh boy. Uh, have the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread? They have not called upon God. Of course, we I tend to say that every now and then. Is have can these people not see what's going on in the world? Can they not see what's happening right in front of their eyes? Have they no knowledge? But of course, it's the next line. It's the next line that gets me. Who eat up my people as they eat bread. People don't want to talk about it. People don't like talking about it for some reason. Um, because a lot of people just don't understand that these things could even remotely happen. Let me go back to after Genesis 6. You bring up the subjects of cannibalism, and people just do not like talking about it. They do not like even remotely getting into it because I don't know. I really, I really don't know. I really don't know why people just don't want to talk about it. Why it definitely in the extra biblical books. I guess that's the word. Probably using that word way wrong. The apocryphal books. You want to go there? Um, it talks about, and I don't have my copy of Enoch with me, about the giants. Genesis 6 came to pass. You know, when man began to multiply, or men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto them, that sons of God saw that the daughters of men were fair, and they took them wives, and then they bred giants, yada yada yada. I mean, if you don't understand this story, if you don't understand where I come from on this story, there's a video out there somewhere that I did where I talked about the Giants, Enoch, Jasher, the Book of Giants, the whole kit and caboodle. I talked about Nimrod. I talked about Gilgamesh. I taught just everything because there's connections there, and it even connects into what we think of as Native American folklore about giants. Um, but I don't know if it's in here or not. It's God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart were only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on earth. That was what I just said a little bit ago. Um, I'm looking. Huh. The earth also was corrupted before, or was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked down upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way on upon the earth, filled with violence, and behold, I destroy them. I guess it's not in here. Then the other ones, though, that when the giants came upon the earth, that when the what was the line exactly? I almost want to say when the fruits of the field, but it basically comes down to when when they could not be sustained upon the food of the earth, they turned towards man. I think it's Jasher. That could be Enoch. I don't remember right now. Um, but when when the earth could not sustain them, they turned towards man and started eating men. And that's been kind of a theme that's run through this. And there's little places in here that you just kind of, people want to call it people want to call it poetry. They want to say that it's not based in it's not really based in reality so much as it's just pretty words put together. So whenever somebody reads something like "Who eat up my people as they eat bread," you know, somebody could say, "Oh well, that's just them going out and enslaving people, and it's they're not really actually literally eating people." Well, I beg to differ. That says that like Oh man, at least a couple times in here. I could definitely I could look that up. I should seriously look that up to see exactly how many times it's in here when it says that. But people don't like talking about that because people don't like thinking about that. People don't think that people don't think that other people could be that cruel. They don't think that people could be that evil to be able to eat other people. And hey, if you want to believe that, you can believe that. But oh wow, you ever just look up cannibalism in the Bible? Holy crap! Ezekiel. Ezekiel 5:10. Therefore, fathers shall eat the sons in the midst of thee, and the sons shall eat their fathers. And I will execute judgments in thee, and the whole remnant of thee will I scatter to the winds. That just straight out comes out and says it. I mean, there's three books. I may have said this before. There's three books in the Bible, right dead smack in the middle: Ezekiel, Isaiah, and Jeremiah. And if you want to know about all the evils of the earth, you read those. Those are, and I always skip over a lot of it. Or, as I'm reading them, I don't really catch certain things until the second or third time through. And man, those will get you. I might read those after I read the Psalms, if we have time. Uh, I'm still looking through this list of this list of cannibalism in the Bible. Of course, Deuteronomy 18:10, there shall not be found any among you any one that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or to use divination, or observer times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or use magic, and all the other stuff. Uh, um, it's another one people don't like to talk about. Oh no, people could never sacrifice children. People could never sacrifice children. That's just something that was in the books. There's no way in the world anybody would ever think about sacrificing a harmless child. There's no way in the world that you would ever have a fertility festival at the beginning of the year. Actually, two fertility festivals at the beginning of the year. There's no way that you could have two fertility festivals at the beginning of the year just to make babies to sacrifice at the two sacrifice festivals at the end of the year. You don't do that. Nobody does that. It's just not. That's not right. That's people. People are better than that. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Buttercup, but that's the way it's been for a long time. I've said this about the Book of Jasher before. That you may not think it's scripture. You may not believe that it's it's the true divine word of God, and that's fine. You can believe that. I am I am still going to take it as a good history lesson because whoever wrote that book, um, they knew what they were talking about. The very beginning of the book, it talks okay, towards the beginning of the book, it talks about the four festivals of the year that the people would come. The people from I think in Jasher it says four cities. I think in is it Jubilees? It says it's five cities of around the Tower of Babel. It wasn't Sodom and Gomorrah, was it? Maybe it was Sodom and Gomorrah. It's been a while since I've been through Jasher. I mean, I'm trying to get through Enoch right now. It's going back to it, and you find so much stuff that you missed. Um, but they talked about the four festivals. The one festival being a fertility festival. They didn't say two, they said one, but they were talking about how fathers were sharing their sons' wives, how the they were sharing their neighbors' daughters, about how it was just pure debauchery. Um, and then it was later on in that book they were talking about how sacrifices, they would sacrifice your kids, and I think it was that one. Anyways, if you look at the and how I always do this, I always go off on a tangent. Um, you talk about the fertility festivals, the pagan fertility festivals, um, that happen at the beginning of the month to bring in spring. You know, because rabbits are so fertile, and that one festival where you write down the name of the girl that you want to consummate with, have sex with, whatever, and you throw it into a box. Yeah, we used to make boxes. Anybody remember that? Whenever they were kids, I don't know if they do. I don't know if they do it so much anymore, but I remember being a kid. They used to have us actually craft a box out of paper and tape it up and write our name on it and decorate it up. And then later on during the day, the kids would go around and slip Valentine's Day cards in them. Anybody remember that? Did you ever do that stuff? Of course, you used to judge how cool you were by how many Valentines you got. But we used to make boxes so that the girls could slip in. Well, back then it was anyone, because back then, a boy could give you a Valentine's Day card and you wouldn't think that it was anything other than just, hey, look, it's a Valentine's Day card. Um, you people really need to understand where these holidays come from, where they originate from, what they do, and you need to take that back to the roots, to the very roots of what these things were, and you have to understand that in the spring you have two fertility festivals, and in the winter, the fall, you have two sacrificial festivals, and they don't hide it anymore. These used to be sacrificial rituals. Samhain and Saturnalia, those were sacrificial rituals. If you don't understand that, you need to learn your history. It is what it is, and there it's on the books. I think it's I don't know if it's like main page Wikipedia or not, but girls used to have babies. They used to have the babies that they made from the fertility festivals just to sacrifice for the sacrifice festivals, for the winter festivals. It's insane. It's absolutely crazy. This world has always been just completely. God said it best. Men have evil in their hearts continuously. Just, and we're coming back around to that. There's I don't know I don't even know if it was real, but the TV show where they were this dude like cooked like human flesh or something, and you want to tie that into the whole spirit cooking thing. Jeremiah, what? Jeremiah 19:9, and I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend. It's just poetry. It's all it is. It doesn't mean anything. The way I understand it, the only time you can really look at any part of the Bible as not being literal is if it's a dream or possibly a psalm. Now, again, we're talking about the psalm right here. He's saying, "Who eat up my people as they eat bread." So maybe it's not real. Okay, fine. But all these other ones, isn't there one in? It wasn't in Exodus. Was it in? Oh, see if I can find it. Yeah, there it is, right there. Exodus 34. Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land. They go horn. No, that's not it. Although, let's thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice. No, that's not what I'm thinking about. There's more than just these, though. Um, and I'm not seeing it. When when Moses and the Israelites came to the when they came to the promised land, when they finally got there, and they looked down, and he had sent several guys down into the valley so that they could spy out what was going on. And it was towards the end of Exodus. They came back. That was when they came back with the bushel of grapes, or the thing of grapes that two men had to carry on their shoulders. And the guys came back and they said something like, there we went down, and there were men down there that were such and such great stature, and they eateth of the land, they eat the people of the land, or something like that. Can I, and I'm not finding it until, like, on. Let me find it, Father. No, it's in here. I'm just not finding it. Hmm. Well, I used to know it. I used to know it pretty well, but I haven't. Like I said, I haven't been into that in a long time. because, COVID. Anyways, but that was the thing as well, that, they eateth up the flesh of the people of the land and the whole thing. But again, it goes to the whole deal of people just don't want to believe that. They just don't want to hear it. But you hear it over and over again. And you just have to stop and say, but this says, this. Why can't we have that conversation? Because people just can't be that evil. Okay. Um I hate to ruin it for you there, but the people can be that kind of evil. You know, I you see some pretty crazy things if you watch BitChute enough. Not that I'm saying people should get into the kind of stuff that I've seen, but you see people doing some heinous stuff, absolutely heinous stuff, and it breaks my heart a lot of times. It just really it hurts, and I don't know. Sometimes I ask myself, why the hell are you even watching this? Why? What is this for? And there's several times where I stop and say, well, this is how you have to understand just how bad it is, and why people do the things they do. There's some reason I watch it. I don't know why, but just people that want to hurt each other, people that just, there's just no empathy, no love anymore. Just blows my mind. And but I see it, and I'm just like, this is this is exactly what this is exactly what the Bible says, that these people can think of nothing but evil continually, and that they are they are so empty of any light or life that this world can give them, that they will just do the worst things to other people. Just somebody said it best. I think I even said it a couple weeks ago, or a couple days ago. I was watching a video, and they said, if you don't have God, if you don't have that structure in your life, that love, that empathy in your life, you you have nothing, and that nothing will feed on you, and it will keep multiplying and multiplying and multiplying and getting worse, and it will either consume you or it will consume others through you. And it's so tragic sometimes. And I've had my moments where I've had to just break down and cry because of that. Just knowing that because we let the enemy secretly sow the seeds of evil around us, that it is absolutely consuming people that could do better, that could do good. And they do it deceitfully. They do it with a wicked lying tongue. and they do it to our destruction. That's not, I can't really go verbatim, but that's pretty close. That's the idea. That's the concept. God, I could talk more about that, but I really can't. I am just so pressed for time anymore. Uh, so I gotta go to work. Thanks, guys, for listening. I know that I left this on a kind of a sour note. Sorry about that. Um, Sometimes this world is a lot to take in. It really is. Sometimes it's a lot to take in, and you just have to you have to pray for the ability to be able to get through it. And I don't think everybody has to see it. I don't think everybody has to understand the concepts, but I think people have to at least know about the amount of wickedness that does exist in the world and about the things that people will do to other people. What they've done before, what they've done now, and how bad it's going to get. And that it's always been like this. And they've turned it on us to where we celebrate it. That's a video for another time. I got to get going. Thank you guys again. God bless everyone. Um, Pray for discernment. Pray for pray for faith. Pray for wisdom. Pray for the full armor of God, because there's going to be a time where we're really going to need it. All right. I shall talk to you guys later. Bye.